You guys have any water yet?
No, actually, we're having our well fracked next Thursday,
Oh,
or Wednesday. And so I was gonna say, don't come here next Wednesday. I will only be on Zoom next week.
okay. All right, good to know. Oh, well, yeah, no, that works out perfectly because next week I'm going to be up at Lake Winnipesaukee, so I should be able to zoom in. I'll have my work laptop, so
Great,
perfect.
good. Gee, you get a little time off?
Well, we'll see. I'm supposed to have time off, but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen because at the end, when there's a staffing hole, like I'm the person who fills it, I guess.
Yeah,
But there's nobody else who does that. So if I'm not there, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like it's
Huh.
I don't know.
huh,
But when you're 5 hours away, there's not much you can do to help. You can't. I'm like,
no.
they tell me like, hey, in an hour we're only gonna have one nurse on the floor. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not gonna be there in 6 hours. So the staffing office is gonna have to figure that out. So
Ooh. Gee, maybe you should offer a job to our daughter-in-law. She's just about to graduate from nursing school.
tell her to apply.
I don't think she wants to come to the East Coast.
Tell you what, David, there's like an employee referral bonus that I could get the bonus and split it with you. Like,
Aha.
not only that, but I've got a room for her to live in.
Well, she and her husband probably would like a little more than that.
They can rent both rooms. It's fine.
You're too willing, Adam.
Probably. Hey, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Hi,
How you doing?
okay.
Getting better?
Yeah. I mean, it's at this point, it's going to be little bits by little bits. So,
Yep. Been there, done that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's you really have to work at it.
Yeah. So I'm ahead of schedule, which is nice in terms of mobility and that sort of thing.
Yep, good. I was telling Adam, I don't know whether this would affect you or not, but do not come here next Thursday. I will only be on Zoom next Thursday because we're having our well fracked
Okay.
in hopes of getting water.
Yeah. So it's still nothing, huh?
Well, very little.
Yeah.
We had to get our third load of water to keep going. So at which point I said, we've now thrown enough water, enough money down the well. Let's
Yeah.
throw a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Is
yeah.
your tenants, are they on the same well?
Yep.
Oh,
Fortunately, we're very good friends with him, and he's willing to be careful.
yeah.
Who's doing the fracking?
Connecticut Wells.
Okay. Don't know. I mean, it's been a while since I've done wells. So.
Our basic plumber well man is Adam Barenko.
Mm.
And he works, I guess, pretty closely with these guys. So we're going with them. The guy there said they have a 95% success rate so far.
Good.
Which is pretty good. So we just hope we're in that 95%.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a coin flip. I don't think you really know until it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been my experience with, I've used dowsers and the pounders and
Yeah,
the grillers, you know, whatever. And you're right, there's, until they see water, it's just hope.
morning, Joanne.
Good morning. I don't know how I get to be Valentine Peace Trust when last night I got to be Joanne Sheehan. So it's like,
Mhm.
who knows how these things work. Anyway, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I
Doesn't
may
sound,
have to mute for a good part of this. They're repaving my street, and today was quieter this morning, but every so often these massive trucks come by and
yeah,
make more grooves in the street. So I'll just yeah.
well, it's nice they're paving your street.
Well, it is after that. Yeah, they've done a lot of work on the street in terms of gas lines and sewage lines. So it's been pretty patched up for most of the last couple of years.
Aha.
Anyway, that's
Well,
it.
I was just saying to the other two guys here, don't come out here next week. Not that I think
Oh.
that's very likely from you, but we're fracking our well next Thursday.
Ah,
But I mean Wednesday. I keep saying Thursday,
Wednesday.
but it's Wednesday. And I think I can do Zoom, but I think there's going to be a lot going on outside.
Yeah, right. So they're going there. What are they doing to it?
Hydrofracking,
Kind of get down to get more water.
hopefully. Well, they say they have a 95% success rate and improving. So I'll hope that
Wonderful.
we're in that percentage.
Well, we're all lucky we don't live in Jackson, Mississippi, so
Yeah.
they have no water. Terrible.
We're hearing from all kinds of people how many people are running out of water.
Struggling. Yeah. The drought, really.
We're
Yeah.
not alone in this, but
No. Especially in Eastern Connecticut. Yeah.
so where is Mr. Bynum? Guess we will start without him and maybe he'll appear. Good. So, what's going on in your God's world? Anything?
Yes, things. I think probably the biggest challenge I had was working on the feeling across the collarbone.
Mm,
That was, yeah. But I really worked on it, which of course then makes everything a little, and in that way we kind of think, oh, okay, we got it. And then like, oh, I have a new challenge, which seems to make other things kind of fall apart. And then you have to put it all back together again.
Right.
So there's a bit of that. And at first I resisted the pool ball. I resisted the balls, but did find them helpful. I paid attention to David, and I did find, I just wanted to let the flow go. I didn't want to have to, but it is helpful. It is. a
Yeah.
learning process that's helpful, so.
Good, good. Gentlemen,
Go for it, Bill. Who's gonna talk first, right?
No, okay, well, not a whole lot. I really focused on feeling my skin,
Mhm.
and tracking that as well as I could. And as Joanne just said, when you up your focus on one particular thing, some of the other things, fall by the wayside, at least temporarily.
Yeah,
So it felt good, but I really was focused on the skin, so I'm not sure what fell by the wayside, but
Mhm.
something undoubtedly did.
well, I think that's perfectly natural and it
Yeah.
will come back.
Yeah.
Good. Anything for you, Adam?
No issues. I think it felt smoother, going from like pool ball to pool ball as the week went on. Feels easier to not get hung up at like one point,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and just to keep transitioning in and out. So,
Yeah, it's kind of what I guess I relate my own experience. Prior to the suggestion of the pool ball method, we sort of focused, or I had always sort of focused on just trying to move my energy and being aware of it, hopefully getting from one end to the other. But the pool ball method helped me to be more precisely aware of the full flow and that I was getting through every part along the way and not allowing some minor blockage to just not be aware of it.
Mhm.
So it really was helpful. I found it really helpful at one stage.
mm,
I think it's a useful concept. Clearly, that's not where you want to end up,
mhm.
Right.
but it's a helpful step on the way. Good. So actually, we're going to perhaps play a little more with that today. So basically, you do know these 6 movements, but you'll find it's a lot harder to get everything to go through movements 2, 3, 5, and 6 than the more vertical movements 1, 4. And it's not that hard to get the energy to go from your spine to your elbows, but it is often when your elbows start moving and changing position. Then it becomes more difficult to move the energy from your elbows to your spine. And this is where you have to spend some time. And so one of the things I wanted to really mention here is the necessity that the elbows are moving. And they're moving in a not only a circular manner, but really in a global manner, if you will. So just for a moment, looking at movements 5 and 6, just notice that my elbows are really circling around my arms and hands. So that constant circular movement of the elbows is really important there. And that's how you're eventually going to get the chi to come all the way to your fingertips. Generally speaking, these movements are more difficult than just having a straight linear movement like movement 1, because we tend to think in a linear way. So we'll take you some time to go through the first 6 movements until you get the energy moving. Remember, first you're playing a game of pool, and eventually you're playing the game of water hose. You play the game of pool, and that opens up your joints to where your chi can go through, and that opens up your body to allowing it to accept what your intent is telling it to do. But eventually, you want to do it the way of the water hose. Once you have got it through, you keep it going through, and you don't lose it and then start again. Your object is to keep that flow going through. Now, when you first start, it might be that you cannot even get this happening through your entire body. It may be you can only get it as far as your elbows for the 6 movements. And then in a couple of days or so, all of a sudden you get it through to your forearm. Never mind. When you keep going on next time and next time, trying again and again, eventually you'll get it. Now, you don't want to get too bothered or fussed about this. Don't get nervous, and don't get, oh, I didn't do it right, because that's actually a kind of useless thing to do. Every time you don't get it right, you have the opportunity that the next time you try, you get it better. And eventually you are going to get it right sooner or later. So I'd like you to stand up or sit if you need to. Let your breathing slow and lengthen, and establish as fully in your body as you can this morning. And be aware of your alignments. Allowing yourself to be as relaxed as possible. And then before you start, you need to spend a little bit of time getting your mind to go inside and through your body. And then when you're ready, begin just doing movement 1. And the question is the chi that is coming out of your spine getting through to your shoulders and through your collarbones? So the energy of both your arms join with each other. And can you maintain that as you go up and down? And then the next thing is you're going to go through your shoulders and to your elbows. Through your elbows if you can. You need to get the movement of your chi going through your skin to your elbows. You're going to find out as you do this why bending your elbows is going to make this a lot easier to do. You bend your elbows so that it allows you to recognize that you're getting the movement through yourself. And if it is blocked or not blocked, if your chi is blocked or not blocked. So if you realize that there is a blockage, you can start dissolving. Or you could just try and have your mind's intent go through it. So it would take your mind's intent with, let's say it has a range from 1 to 10. And maybe the first time you do it, you can only go to 1. But then you find the next time 2, and then it goes to 3 and 4. And you may find by the time you get through all 20 of the moves, your mind intent has been able to go through the blockage. And once your mind intent has gone through the blockage has been resolved. This is a different way to resolve blockages. And there are many ways in Taoism to do that. Now see if you can get the chi to go to the end of your fingers. And then projecting from your spine through your fingertips and back to your spine. As you're pulling in from your fingers all the way back through your elbows, shoulders, and scapula to the spine. Remember to keep rotating the elbows to point as downward as possible without closing off the armpits. And now if you can, feel, what does the yang projecting energy feel like that's different from yin absorbing energy? Eventually, you have to feel this. You want yang energy as your hands are going forward, going through every finger as they extend, and then the yin energy just start pulling in as you bring your hands back and down your spine. And now go to movement 2. Are you getting your energy to go from your spine through your elbows to your fingertips as they rise and spread to the side? Or maybe it just got to your elbows. Then pull the energy back from your elbows as they go down and back to your spine. Push the energy up your spine and then project the energy from your spine to your hands until you get to your full yang extension. And then pull it from your elbows until you get full yin. And you go out again. So remember, at the moment, the object is not to try to get it all to happen at once, because your mind will gap out too much. Right now, you're playing a game of pool. You're simply trying to get each ball to knock into the next one. Often the spine to the elbows is the really big challenge point. And now see if you can start going to the middle of your forearms. So you're projecting to the middle of your forearms as your elbows are going out. And now another thought. Let's go to absorption and discharge. If your arms are bending in toward your body, that's absorption. when the extension starts going away from your body, that is the discharge. And that is the extension of your chi. Now see if the energy will go to your wrist. And now go to the Laogong point, the center of your palm. And remember, this is still the game of pool. One ball to the next to the next. And now all the way out to your fingertips. And now just for a minute, try to do this as one thing. Try the water hose method. And remember that the water in a hose is connected back to its spigot in both directions. You could say the water is connected back to the spigot, and you could say it's connected away. But the water is never allowed to separate. So you always want to have the sense of the chi being inside your whole arm at once, with just a greater emphasis of having backflow of the current when you bend, and an outflow of the current when you extend. But it's always going in both directions at once. And as your mind gets clearer and more subtle, this becomes easier and easier to do. So let yourself relax when you complete this movement and just close for the moment. So what did you feel? What was hard? What was easy?
I felt the spine to the scapula was tough. I thought I was doing it, and then when we were at the point of focusing on the elbows, it kind of had a sense of greater awareness, and I realized, I I didn't get it as fully as I thought I did. And I kind of had to go back and almost start again and catch up with
Mhm.
that greater level of awareness.
Yep.
But then once that was in place, everything else came very quickly and easily. Getting to the like the mid forearm, the Lagong point, and the tips of the fingers. So
Good. And that area between the spine and the scapula is extremely important
Mhm.
mm,
from a
mhm,
health standpoint. So it is really, that's partially why really finding the movement of the scapula and the elbows helps you to open up that area.
mm.
Oh, good.
I found very powerfully that I could feel both the yin and the yang at the same time, more than I had before.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's like, woo.
yeah, good.
Yeah, I had other challenges before that, but that was like, that's kind of the reward, you know? Like, oh, okay.
Mm.
And were you aware of that on both surfaces of the arm, or?
Yes, yeah. I had worked on the yin and the yang this week, so, but more individually, like, oh yeah, out and back in, right? Kind of so as you, it was a little challenge at first. I thought to feel them both simultaneously, but then I did.
Good.
So that was, yeah, that was good.
That was the reward for your work this week.
It was.
Good. Bill?
I had relatively little problem feeling the chi throughout my arm and into the fingertips. It was almost like a little force field around the whole arm, you know. More difficulty, as Adam mentioned, with the spine to the scapula. And I also, although I felt the energy moving both ways, once coming back, difficult to track it into the shoulder from the arm. Yeah. So.
You mean from the elbows?
Well, yes. You know, I could feel this whole area being involved, but then it gets somewhat lost.
Yep.
In the shoulder area.
And that's not not terribly unusual, I think, because
Right. Yeah.
if you don't get that connection clear through the scapula, then that area is where it just sort of stops.
Yeah.
So being aware, getting that real connection all the way through. I think from what you're saying, you'll get it. It's just a matter of a little bit more practice.
Yeah. I would assume that working on keeping the shoulders loose, the scapula loose, would be the main way to address that.
Well, you don't want to tense it up, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, that all the way through the movement in both directions, the scapula are constantly moving.
Yeah.
We often, when we start to really feel the scapula, we often kind of have a tendency to get them to go out and freeze out and then come in and sort of freeze in. And you really want to be aware that that movement in its subtlety needs to be as continuous as the others.
Yeah. Okay.
And making sure, this is not just to you, Bill, but making sure that you're twisting is continuous. It's very easy to get to the end of a twist, but not be where it can begin to go in the other direction. So it's kind of important to really be aware of that continuous movement, that continuous rotation, and maintaining your pace. Adam, you still have a little bit of a tendency to go up too fast and too.
Okay.
And that's very easy. We all fall into that at some point. Because it's there's kind of a nice oh, we made it. And that doesn't help.
Okay.
So maintaining pace is important. Anything else you want to say about this?
I also found, maybe dovetailing on that it was a split second, but there was that I would stop when I got to that outer point into. But it really not long, but long enough for me to be aware that it was happening and I was breaking that flow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's easy to do because
It is.
those places where we're looking for the extent of the etheric body, it's like, do I feel it?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're back, right? But then yeah.
So, but as your awareness grows, because of feeling the etheric body is so subtle at first, as that grows and you become more clearly aware of it, then to some degree, I think that tendency goes away.
Uh-huh.
So you can take the practice that we just did in 1 and 2, and I think for you guys, you can go ahead and begin to explore it in the other movements in your practice. And we will, as we go on later in the program, we'll come back to all of this and refine it and add more details into it just so you don't get bored, right? But I think that clearly you have a good grasp of the basic idea here, and there's no reason why you shouldn't work on it in the other 4 movements that you have at the moment. But practice these 2 for as long as it takes for you to be able to do everything we've covered, and then go ahead and figure out how to do it in the other 4. So don't be in a rush. Everyone learns differently. As you keep practicing, you'll get there. And as they say in the Orient, slowly, slowly catches monkey. And what that phrase, where that phrase comes from is very simple. If you're in a forest and you try to go fast toward the monkey, it will run away. And the one way you can catch the monkey is to walk toward it very, very slowly. And then when you're about an inch away from it, grab it. So remember to do the pool game to start. It's valuable because it's very easy to just feel chi energy in one part of your body at a time. But you have to realize the purpose of God's is for it to happen in all the parts of your body. So God's is about integration. In terms of the 5 elements, God's is earth. Earth integrates the other 4 elements. So just have it only in one place is a quite common thing to do, depending upon which element your mind might naturally be sliding into. But when you get to earth, it has to integrate. In truth, It's when the water is going in both directions in the hose that the integration has really happened. And the pool game is the preset for making that happen. And as you're trying to move the energy, there may be certain points in the movement where you feel the loss of energy as you are moving the energy through a point, such as your upper arm. So focusing on those points when that happens can help to keep it continuous. And realize that when you practice, you don't ever want to think that what's happening to you is mystical or magical, or maybe you're special. The human condition has trillions of variations depending upon what condition you're looking at. There is a variability within human beings as to what they will notice at this point in time and at that point in time. And if you are noticing things at a point in time, make the best you can of it, but don't fixate on it. And don't think it's a big deal, because it's really not. You know, by these benchmarks, because that's the nature of organic growth. Just accept what happens to you. It's not psychologically healthy for you to think of it as anything like a big deal. And usually you'll not even know why it's happening to you, but just the awareness that when you start getting the flow, the things will start changing inside you. You may not be able to figure out why, or sometimes you may be able to figure out why, but just let it flow. So any other thoughts or questions at the moment? Okay, well, I'm going to let you go at this point.
Okay,
It's a good class.
Yeah.
A lot in here.
Thank you, David.
Good. We'll hopefully keep you busy. As if you weren't busy enough already. I know.
Right.
Hope things smooth out, Adam. And
Thank you.
how are you doing, Joanne?
Busy, but the memorial was beautiful for my friend, and yeah, the organizers were able to get together afterwards, and looking forward to a nice fall.
Good. Thank you.
thank you, David.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David.
See you all.
Take care.
Bye, Bill.
Bye, Bill.
So, any time for woo?
No, I haven't. I have to admit.
Only little bits and pieces.
Well,
Yeah.
I know both of you are kind of up against things
Busy, right?
at the moment. Don't lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah, need to really, get back to, I did it a few weeks ago when I was on vacation, but I have to go back.
I've been
Yeah,
trying to bounce which bits and pieces I do when I do it, to try and, keep everything straight and in order.
yeah.
That's the trick, isn't it? In order. Then you're back to your crib sheet.
And it can go pretty easily.
Yeah.
Right. I don't find, right. I think the order can go. What am I supposed to be doing now goes. And occasionally I've really lost something, like, oh my God, how do you do that? Right. And that's kind of scary. Oh, and then you get it back. But-
Yeah. So I just encourage you to try to look at it once a week anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Just
That's
to
a
keep
good,
it alive.
That's right.
in there.
Right.
Maybe as we get a little further in the fall, we can spend a little more time on it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you have to go to work today, Adam?
Yeah, I'm headed in now after class, you know.
That's right. You're having to work 5 days now, aren't you?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
6 or 7?
Well, so yeah, 5 or 6 or 7.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah, because the patient number is up or the nurses number is down.
it's more a management shift.
Uh-huh.
So I have 2 units and we used to have 2 assistant managers. So there's 1 manager and 2 assistant managers and we had 2 units. A manager left on a different unit. So they took one of the assistant managers, put her over there to be like the, you know, kind of babysitting manager. While they did the, you know, the whole job interview process. But they said, we're not going to hire a new assistant manager. Like they're just going to take that budget and move it somewhere else to make a new role for someone else. So now it's, you know, just me with the 2 units. So now, you know, I'm doing twice the work. And then on
course.
top of that, they really want my role focusing on 11 a.m. discharges, which if you're coming in the afternoon, it's difficult to do. There's only so much I can do to try and set someone up for a good discharge in the morning versus being there at 7 a.m. and being like an extra person who can troubleshoot problems as they come up, because it's just too much for a nurse who's got 5 or 6 patients to then put all of their effort during kind of that really busy morning time when they're passing meds and getting people up and doing bed baths. Say, well, now I'm going to take an hour and just totally focus on David's
This
discharge. Well, like everybody else has too much critical stuff going on. So the assistant manager can jump in and say like, okay, go pass your meds. I'll do David's discharge. Or, you know, you do David's discharge, I'll go pass your meds, do your dressing change, whatever needs to get done. So it just, to do that goal, which is now the metric I'm held to, I need to be there in the morning. So, and you know, without the other assistant manager there, it doesn't really work for me to only be there 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like somebody needs to physically be there 5 days a week. So,
And is all this run on the bottom line? Like, it sounds like a hotel, you know, like if you're not out by 11, then you will be punished.
I wish I could say it was not true, but yes, it's very much true.
Yeah,
But-
it sounds like it. Yeah.
11 a.m. is an arbitrary time in healthcare that whatever powers that be have determined that a discharge by 11 a.m. does not like incur another patient day, another bed day. So, you know, if you're out by 11, you're there for 3 days. If you're out at 11:05, you're technically there for 4 days. Which when they calculate the reimbursement rates, now like it looks like we're getting less money per bed day,
Uh-huh.
which is, you know,
Yeah.
it's all kind of how you look at it, because at the end, it's the same amount of money. The insurance company is going to say like, well, we're going to pay you $100, but now you're 100 divided by 3 instead of 100 divided by 4. So when you look at your rate, you're like, oh, we're making, you know, $25 a day instead of $33 a day. But at the end, you're still just getting paid $100. Like it's,
It's
you know,
all that- I mean,
it's all how
yeah.
you know, that upper level kind of strategizing, and it all comes down to that stuff. So
Right, and that's the problem with the healthcare system is the financial end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's it. And it is a problem because we are bleeding money post COVID. I mean, on my 2 units, we're usually spending an extra 150 to 200,000 on staffing per month. On, you know, that's 2 out of 30 something units that are in the hospital. So
Mm,
the money's going out much quicker than it's coming in, which is why they're really focusing on anything they can do for the bottom line.
Right. And the numbers are still high. I noticed this morning's
Yeah.
numbers, still 321 in the state and the hospital for COVID.
Yeah, it's still out there, you know.
Yeah. Right.
So anyways,
Oh, yeah. And then, but the effect it has on the people is, yeah,
yeah,
that's the problem.
so,
From you to the patients, right? And the other nurses. Yeah.
well,
They didn't pay you twice as much either, did they?
No, they never do when they put you in those situations, do they?
no, they did give me some. There were some, there's like a bonus and stuff, so it's not like totally nothing, but yeah. You know, it's,
All right, well, you've only got, an hour and 8 minutes there. Better go. 11 o'clock's a coming.
that's right. All right, guys, well, good seeing you.
All right.
David,
yeah,
we'll
see
you.
practice.
Hang in there.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Great class. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Bye.
Bye now.